U2 client version 5.1. We have one simple tool called SSL Setup Tool to set up a SSL testing environment. Very, very easy. So if you install U2 client 5.1, they have an option in the called Rocket U2 SSL. Then they have option to choose the option called Rocket U2 SSL Setup Tool. After you install this tool, you can run this tool like this program. This program, how it work? It's just a couple steps behind the thing to make everything is working easy. And for this tool, they can set up server-side SSL, also set up the .NET environment. If you want to use in Java, like a UOJ or JDBC, you also can use this tool to make it work for SSL connection. So before you run this program, if you want to use in Java, make sure Java environment is set up ready. For example, for this version, I already have Java 1.8 or later version on your machine. Also, in this path, make sure they include keytool. So must be have a keytool available on your machine. For the setup environment, we're using the keytool to create key store environment. So when you start the program, all you need to do, make sure you connect to your server using root or administrator user permission. Why they need to do this? Because some of the file created require root permission to set it up. For example, on this demo, I using a Unix machine, and inside the Unix machine, on this machine, there's a Unix machine. Then when you make a connection, so you can use any account, but right now, just by default for Universe, I just connect to hs.cs and provide the host name and hs.cs and root user and password. Then just make a simple connection. So this demo is connect to Universe 11.3.2. So after you connect to this machine, all the next step, basically just click on the setup SSL.Unix. If you connect to the Windows, you have a different option called SSL for Windows. So right now, all you need to do, just click on the SSL Unix. So just make sure you will take maybe a minute. Then you will see all the steps behind the things. So when you click this program, what this program does, basically they try to make sure server environment inside the hs.cs include the bp.o, and excise security context file is all available in the VOC file. So after everything is no problem, and actually it will upload one particular subroutine called subroutine create SCR subroutine. Put it on the BP folder. Then we'll compile and catalog and run it. So after running this program, all based on the password, here just the demo using my underscore password, and also we create SCR log file in the temp folder. You can change it before you run the program. So basically, the program called this subroutine will create a certificate and also create SCR record on the server side. So here you see the program will create a new certificate in this folder, and also the step file will put this certificate in the SCR records. For Universe will be at secuctxxi file. This file is under HS.sales account. So if you, after you create it, then the record will be on the server side. You will generate this kind of record on the SCR records. So also the step 6 is create a .unit security file. This record change, normally you must have root permission to update this file. Otherwise, you will fail the process. So this one, you see the result. You will update or create the new security record called UVCS, and for UO connection in the .unit security file. Also, it will create a UV server. That's for ODBC or UCI connection. Also using the same my password. So the next step, you will download this certificate. Download to client machine. And by default, we'll put the temp folder. So if you want to put another folder, you need to change it before run this auction. Then step 8, basically, you will install this certificate to Microsoft Root Trust Store. And also, it will remove it if you find the previous certificate already in the Root Trust Store. You will remove first and install the new one. So let's just step by step to tell you what is the program, what does in this function. If you just want to use an .NET environment, basically you just disconnect it. If you also want to use in UOJ SSL or JDBC SSL, so you can first one you can click UOJ SSL. So this one you will see already they have a couple steps. The first step, you see you will delete a previous U2 key store. Then check the certificate and create a new key store using the keytool. That's the syntax. That's the syntax to create a key store in the C10 folder. Also, you will try to test the connection. So here it show you using the open SSL UOJ SSL connection to the server, and open the state file and read the 1CO records. So if you connect to different account, the data might not correct, because on different account you may not have a state file and CO record. You also can test the JDBC SSL connection. So They have a multiple step to make a connection and retrieve the data from server. If you want to learn how you create a UOJ SSL program, you can click UOJ sample. Basically, this program will put it on the C10 folder. The program name will call UOJ Connect SSL.java program in C10 folders. If you want to see JDBC SSL sample, you also can click and you will download the sample program to the 10 folder. So after you create all the server-side environment and also create the client-side U2 key store, then you just disconnect. Then you just choose SSL option. Then you just make a connection again. So you will see the option called secure. So you make another connection. Right now everything using SSL connection. So if you want to learn more, basically you can click on the help topics. Then basically it will come with the PDF file to explain every step, what is working step inside this tool. Also, we can go back to look up the server side. On the server side, so how server work? You will see if you on the this program, I can show you the BP folder. So BP folder, I will put the subroutine here to in the BP folder. When program to call this subroutine, basically you will create couple files, certificate file. This one is certificate and some private key. So some request and here. If you go back to HS.sales account, you run the UV, you will see list, SEC UCTX. So it generates the security SCR records here. And also very important to check where's the .unit security file is under .unit shared. So inside here, they have a .unit security file. So that's the security. This tool record is just created by the tool. So you will see it will require permission to create it by root. On Windows side, it will require administrator permission to create it. So inside tool, you make a connection SSL. But how you know you make a SSL connection? So you can use in the SSL login tool, or you can direct go to the server to create the just need to set up security. So here is the UV1132 and create a server debug. So you create the server debug and just one line called UVCS. The log level is 10 and the log file name will be temp uvcs.log. It's put everything in the temp folder. So we know we make a SSL connection. So here you can see UVCS. So every time you make a UO SSL connection, it always comes with one UVCS log file. For here, you will see the UVCS log file. Also will generate another, this one. It also for SSL log. So if you look at the SSL log, see this is the mega UO SSL connection. So normally you will see the using the client portal is TLS v1.2, and you will see SSL binding OK. If you're not successful, you will see the error inside the open SSL error log. Inside this program, someone may be asked why you have another option called Setup SSL Unix client. So for example, you have a two client machine, want to connect to the same server. The first machine, you need to set up the server side. So you will be do the server side setting. But another machine, you only need to do is client side. So for example, you want to using .NET, you just need to download the certificate and install the certificate to Windows root trustor. Then it will work. Then how you know is the Microsoft root trustor? You can using the certificate manager tool called CRT MGR tool. Then using that tool, and the tool it will show you called CTR MGR certificates, and you can check this. We just create a certificate here. So you will see every time this program just install the sales sign certificate in the Microsoft root trustor. So it will be the same thing on the Windows side and Unix side. So basically, you just need to make us an SSL connection, and just next step, just run the SSL connection. This tool only good for testing environment. It's not suggest to use on the production system because all the environment setting it might be different. So right now this program always set up the SSL property is by default. If you want to set more complicate the setting, the certificate you might be using a program to generate, or you using another U2 tool called XMN tool to create a certificate. But overall, this tool is pretty easy to set it up and testing.